we're gonna go over stuff that we can do during quarantine. We call it Quarantivities.
You like puns.
Yeah. So it's gonna be in two parts. So I'll talk about the stuff that I do during quarantine, and Maddie's gonna talk about stuff that she does during quarantine, which is completely different from mine. All right. So Maddie, you want to take this one?
Yeah, so as an introduction, kind of why we're doing this whole presentation. A lot of people are using this time, of course, to do their schoolwork online, binge watching things on Netflix, on Hulu, staying on your phone, on your laptop. And these are great ways to keep yourself busy, but they are not great ways to help you be present in the moment. So I know I keep seeing a ton of memes on Twitter and Instagram of people being like, time isn't real. Like, is quarantine even really happening? Like, I think we got stuck in a time loop somewhere. Or people talking about how they're going to sleep at 6 a.m. and waking up at 4 p.m. And so these activities are a way to help you ground yourself and help you establish a schedule through the process of grounding. So that's why we are promoting you do actual physical activities as opposed to watching another episode of Tiger King.
Good. All right. So with that, we go to body awareness. Continuing what Maddie was talking about, having that physical activity of actually crafting something, doing something with your hands. It's unique because it comes from you, that's for sure. It's something you created, something that you've done, and you give your love and energy and hours putting in, and it makes you unique. Anything you want to add, Maddie?
Yeah, you end up with something physical at the end. So physical activities and crafts are great because they don't only challenge you mentally, because you have to think, okay, here's step 1, step 2, step 3 of how to make something, but you're actually interacting with different objects, different textures, engaging more of your senses through like touch as well as your mind than you would be if you did something online. And it's a lot harder to be encased in like this sense of nihilism, because I know it's a struggle to feel like nothing you do matters during these times, but things may be difficult, but look, you made a cool popsicle stick craft. So you get something at the end to remind yourself, what I do matters, I'm real, and I just made this really cool craft.
And some of those are activities. I'll be talking about mine. The way I share and do stuff is through drawing. I draw in many mediums, and some of them, of course, is coloring and drawing. Drawing reduces my stress. It's like another form of running 2 miles for me, which is weird. I don't sweat, of course, but but while I'm stuck at home after reading essays, reading 20 pages, doing all of this, writing essays, reviewing the grammar, and going to the webinars, and of course, hearing the professors talk, I sometimes draw in between or draw after. I created a schedule within the stuff that I draw. So I have, class, drawing 4 hours or 5 to 6 hours, and then continue on going to sleep or do whatever I want. And it hasn't even been proven that it can improve your mood and creativity. And it gives you like, oh, I finally finished this and I can go back to sleep. Or I finally finished this, something I made out of my hands. And drawing gives a great relief of stress. It's like, whoa, okay, I always imagine this. Let me put it on paper, see how it looks like. It's a great mode. And the ways that I draw through computer, through Photoshop, and also through pencil, of course, traditionally, where I just legit grab something and draw it. Last night, I legit spent 5 hours just drawing this, and it's really nice. and I'm about to make money out of it. Like that's another mode that you can do stuff. Like people, for artists, whichever writers, um, crafts, and everything. One thing that that I've known by talking to all of them is that we share a way of connection through the stuff that we draw. So in this PowerPoint, I have put links that y'all can go after and look, download apps where you can draw digitally through your computer. If you don't know what to draw and you don't know what to do, I have put also some search engines. One of them, of course, is Twitter. Everybody uses Twitter. Or if not, use Instagram or Facebook. People post like famous artists, like especially the one from Spider-Man. He posted like all his files of all the drawings he's done, so you can color them for him. And he's like donating. You make like as you color it, he gives out money to other places. And also the same. One of my favorite ones that I put here is Casey Collar. He's a guy who draws for Transformers and also draws for G.I. Joe and My Little Pony, which is weird. But yeah, I know My Little Pony. It's so weird. But he's donating money and giving out his drawings so you can color them for him. And he donates your effort, quote unquote. Like that's another form of medium that it's being used. Like, yeah, like I've been watching and doing all these things, but my effort, my drawing, my craft is actually helping someone out there in the world. And so, and of course, if you don't know how to draw, YouTube. I learned everything through YouTube. It's also an amazing thing that once you learn these things, it's because you're teaching it yourself. It's not like somebody teaching you as you're watching a webinar. It's something you're doing on your own time. And it brings just great satisfaction. So yeah. Of course, like when you go online and search up like to color stuff, you you have to search it up in a certain way. And one of those, of course, are line arts. That is like just black and white, basically. And with that, you can color them in, shade them in. Other good websites that I go to is DeviantArt. That's where I publish my portfolio, or even Tumblr. But just be careful in Tumblr. Tumblr can be a little spooky sometimes. But yeah, it is. It's like all ages. But you can see and read stories. And also another mode of stress relieving is writing. I didn't really talk about it much here, but I have friends like around the world that I know that write, and that's another way they release their stress. So once they finish all their work, they end up writing their own stories, and then they make them public online. And sometimes they make me read over them to make sure if it's okay. So I'm like, oh yeah, sounds good. So yeah, it creates great connections. These are examples of line arts that I found online. I put the links at the end of the slide. You can go in and download them. They're like in files, so you can look them up. It's cute. I like SpongeBob. It's so cute. As I was talking, can you hear me? I feel like I'm too far away. Yeah. Okay.
We can hear you.
Okay. Good. All right. So yeah, instead of with that, Wattpad is the website that I know they write a lot of stories, like fan made in this case, and they're very popular. Like I know it's very well known for the Harry Potter series, like fan made Harry Potter series. Like they're very long. It's very interesting. So yeah, I can check that out. They also have other stories and stuff written there, and all different types of languages. It's more organized rather than going to other weird sketchy websites. So yeah. So yeah, I would actually encourage y'all to start writing because it's actually a nice way. It's like expressing yourself in a different perspective. Also the same thing with drawing. It's like you, but in a different version. It's really nice. I should try it.
I have a question.
Yes. Go ahead.
Okay. So do you know of any websites that have like writing prompts? Because sometimes like I want to write, but I don't know what I want to write about.
With writing prompts. Dang it. Yeah, I don't know the name of it. but I do know there's something that does happen. They sent it to me a long time ago. Like it was just like I used to see it like videos. Do you put it in and they just started off with part, and then you continue it, and then they put it compared to it. It compares it to all the other stories everybody has written. I'll try to look it up. I've seen
I
it
know
before.
there's a lot of not necessarily like websites of their own, but a lot of times if you look up like on Twitter, hashtag writing prompt, Tumblr, hashtag writing prompt, probably on Instagram as well, you can look some up, or just looking up. A lot of the times there will be like 30-day challenges for writers. So there will be like, for example, a picture with like 1 through 30, and it's all these different writing prompts. And of course, it challenges authors to write a little short story, you know, every day for a month. And you don't have to do that. You can just take one of those prompts and use it as you like. And so, of course, you could probably look up like fantasy writing prompts, action writing prompts, depending on what it is you want to write about.
Okay.
Those are very popular, especially in October. It's called the Fall Fest. Yeah, I've taken part of a lot of it, especially for like my ideas and franchise that I like to go through. Um, it's very intriguing. Like so they post like 30-day challenges, and you just go one by one to with a certain hashtag, and then at the very end they share it, and it's just for fun. You just make connections, which is pretty nice. hmm So the whole point, if you think of an idea like, oh, I would like to see this in paper, or I like to see draw this, oh, just do it. Like it's nice. You might spend 3 hours or 4 hours doing it, and you won't even realize it. And in the end, you'll feel something great out of it because it comes out of you, out of your own creation. And there's other people that like it too. I mean, you just don't even know. And so, other than that, as we were mentioning earlier, the 30-day challenges, and of course, going to Twitter and with Twitter and Instagram and all these other social medias, you can connect with people. I connected with people around the world, like a lot. I have friends from Spain, from the Czech Republic, from Russia, from Europe, from Britain, many. Um, uh, I just do. And I trade art. In this case, I draw and then they finish coloring it or they send it back to me and I color it or whichever. And it's like something you've done with somebody that you don't even haven't seen, but you're creating something with another person, making another relationship. There's also art gifts that I've done and people have done with to me. They've given me stuff like for free and just out of the kindness of their heart, which is kind of like very nice at this moment because you can't really see a person physically. So drawing something to give something to your partner or your friend, it's actually really nice. It can be, I don't know, like a little stick figure or something, or a little small drawing like, hey, I love you or something. It's really nice. Something written out of or drawn out of you, it's special. And there are also art commissions, which I do as well. I usually don't get real money. I actually trade it for something that I want because I feel like that's more special than just money. Um, Somebody pays you to draw something, which is really nice, or even write something. Like one of these things I've seen on Twitter as I've been following people is that if you want to do something or write something ever in your life, like, oh, I always wanted to write the story. And at one point, it can become real, like an actual story. Just look at the lady from Harry Potter, J.K. Rowling's, I think. It took her 30 years to write Harry Potter. And it was denied like 11 times, I think. But she still made it. And now she's like, whoa, everywhere. And it's the same thing. I'm like, you gotta start somewhere. And that's another thing that you can look for as an inspiration. Like, oh, let me try this thing. It might be really nice. Mm-hmm. And also with that, there's other methods of crafts, and that's crocheting that I have no idea what it is, and I'm about to learn.
Yeah, so I couldn't draw a stick figure to save my life, but I'm good with yarn. So I do what's called crocheting. It's not knitting. They're different. They're similar, but they are different. So I'm not great at knitting, but I can tell you all about crochet.
Like,
So crochet utilizes, you use hooks. So it uses a hook and a ball of yarn in order to create something. And you can make pretty much anything your heart desires. I've seen people commonly make clothes, people make hats, people make scarves. So think a beanie, something like this, easy to make, but people also make weirder and more complex things. So a popular thing to do is make little figurines. So amigurumi is what they're called. So like the Baby Yoda you see on screen here. You can make stuffed animals, you can make blankets. I see people make clothes, people make slippers, people make socks. You can really make whatever you want. The sky's the limit when it comes to crochet. And it's a really good hobby because all you need is a single hook and a single ball of yarn to get you started. And of course, you can find these at most craft stores. So think Joann's Fabrics and Crafts. They have an app with really good coupons. Always coupon when it comes to buying crafting supplies. And you can teach yourself through YouTube tutorials. That's what I did personally. I've been crocheting for, gosh, like 6 years now, 7 years now. And I taught myself online because I got really sick in 6th grade. And so I was stuck at home with nothing to do. And crochet is a really nice hobby because once again, you're able to create something from your own brain and create it in front of you for you to use or to give to someone that you love, or you can sell it and make money. And crochet is unique because you can do things that are really simple and almost repetitive. So a lot of patterns for things like scarves or hats or blankets, it's just repeating the same few stitches over and over. So you can do that as a way to keep your hands busy while you listen to a podcast, while you watch a TV show, watch some YouTube videos. So it's just another way to keep yourself busy and to help fight that restless feeling that I know a lot of people are having trouble with during quarantine. But there are also patterns that are more complex, so that can really challenge your mind. So a lot of stuffed animals, those can be more difficult. They're simple ones, they're difficult ones. There are a bunch of different intricate stitches that you can learn. So those would require more brain power. So it's really customizable depending on what you need in that moment and what kind of distraction you're looking for. Inexpensive crochet supplies. Yes, so I recommend you can buy your crochet supplies not only from craft stores like Joann's. I always recommend Joann's because they have really good coupons. You look online or if you download their app. You can also get them just straight up from Walmart. Walmart has a surprisingly really good selection of yarns and of crochet hooks. So some of my favorite yarn at this point in time, like regular worsted weight yarn, inexpensive from Walmart. This was maybe $2-3 for this big old thing of yarn, and this can make me a lot of different things depending on what it is. And there are different kinds of hooks made out of different kinds of things. So you may have hooks that are nicer, a little fancier. These have like a ergonomic grip to help you keep from hurting your wrists. So I bought a 12 pack of these from Amazon for I think maybe $15. And it had all the sizes of hooks I need for whatever project I'm making. They also make cheap plastic ones or acrylic ones. So I think this had, they came in multi-packs. So you can get all the sizes of hooks from really little ones to really big ones, depending on what it is you're trying to make. And these were also relatively cheap. I think for the entire set, these two, it was maybe $10. And I think I got these from Joann's. And then there's the most common, which are aluminum hooks, which I don't think I have any on me right now. I don't. But you can buy those at Walmart as well, and those are also really cheap. So you can buy them individually. And if you really want to get into crocheting, I would recommend buying a set just because it will save you the most money in the long run. And a lot of times people's like grandparents or family members, they may craft and you don't really know, or they may not do it anymore. So I got my first crochet hook from my grandmother who tried crocheting years ago but never picked it up. So a lot of times you can ask your family member if you know anyone crafty, like, do you have a crochet hook in that quilt basket of yours? But as far as things like that go, I recommend Walmart for things that are cheap, and couponing at stores like Joann's, Michael's, Hobby Lobby has good coupons as well. So
Yeah, I got my markers from Michael's as well. The markers I use are Copic. They're unique. They're like $10 each, so they come in two sides. So this is like the tiny tip, and then
alcohol
this is
markers,
the,
right?
yeah, they're alcohol markers, and they're reusable with alcohol. And they're $10, but in Michael's there's $7. And then if you buy two, the other third one comes $3, and it's super cheap. You buy them in mass.
One of my
They're
friends,
very reusable. It's just
one of my friends, in order to build his army of Copic markers, Hobby Lobby has a coupon. I think it's like 45% off one item. I can't entirely remember, but he would go in like every day and buy one Copic marker with that one coupon and was able to amass a Copic army. So, I mean, of course, you can also use Crayola crayons. That's what I do because I can't draw. So I just color in things in with adult coloring books, my Crayola markers.
I started off with Crayola because there was this one artist who colored only with Crayola, and it looked very professional, like, and crayons. And he made it all the way to the top and got his own company just by drawing with Crayola. And it's very interesting because Crayola is very cheap. It's like what, $2 for all that huge box, back in they were little kids. And yeah, and like he got his whole career out of Crayola, thanks to Crayola. So something to start off with.
And Crayola is nice because you can find it everywhere. So like Walgreens, CVS, a Kroger, HEB, they're gonna have a little like normally where there's the kids sections and they have like coloring books, and you can find adult coloring books most places now, which is nice. Like I've seen them in grocery stores, and I bought mine from Surprise Joann's. I used to work there, plug for Joann's, and you can usually find ones that are pretty cheap. So for most all crafts, and at least the ones we presented today, there's going to be a low entry fee. So for example, if you wanted to take up resin work and create like all these charms and fun things, that's going to cost you quite a bit more because you have to buy like the whole 9 yards to even make something. But like with drawing, you just need a pencil and a paper. With crochet, you just need a single hook and a single ball of yarn. And then if you like what you're doing and you want to do more, you can always build up and expand your collection of different tools and different yarns and papers and pens and markers of all different sorts. And really pick up a hobby that can last you a lifetime. When I picked up crochet, it was just to keep me from absolutely losing my mind from having to stay inside. And I'm still crocheting to this day, 6-7 years later. So it sticks around with you.
Yes, it does. I've been drawing since I was 10, and it's been there for 10 plus years.
Always there for you.
So the overall idea is that wherever you start, crocheting, drawing, creating crafts, creating paper origamis, whatever you like. Even the origami people have amazing skills. You start from a place that you don't know where it's going to lead you, and you have to go through stepping stones, and that's the great benefit overall, is that you're accomplishing something for your own benefit, like for your own self. Like, oh wow, I can do this. Oh wow, I just did this and people like it. Or just your own self, like, oh, I like it. It's like another mold instead of just sitting down and been watching or even getting distracted of eating chips or something. Like, it can help you like get distracted, be like, oh, let me do this, let me give it a try, let me write the story. You're going to go through building steps, and it's the accomplishment feeling in the end that brings the overall happiness within oneself.
The healthy distraction, in order to help keep yourself oriented during these trying times. So I know what we presented with like drawing and crocheting and writing. And of course, these are all things that you have to interact with different textures and different things, but there are like an infinite number of crafts. You can take up basket making, you could take up origami, and it doesn't necessarily need to be a complex or, you know, professional type craft. Like really and truly embrace like the middle schooler in you and make some slime. That's fun. It's messy, it's tactile, it keeps all of your senses engaged. A lot of the times you can make it from stuff you have at home, and it's just a fun distraction or activity for you to do so you can orient yourself and realize, you know, what did I do yesterday? Oh, yeah, yesterday afternoon, I made slime and got food dye all over my kitchen. Versus, what did I do yesterday? I don't know. I think I was on season, you know, 5 of Criminal Minds, but I don't really remember. Crafts are just a really good way for you to create something for yourself, because we're out here making assignments for professors, you know, doing work for our jobs, like doing what we need to do for our household, for our families. And crafting and hobbies really provide you a space for you to express your own creativity and to create something for yourself. So you can make gifts for loved ones and you can sell it, but at the end of the day, it's creativity that comes from you, and you get to decide what you do with it, which is a lot of fun.